Let's get trashed. It's in the can.
Save it for the pod.
You know what?
Save it for the pod.
In the Never-Ending Story, I remember the kid in front of me pooped his pants.
The Never-Ending Story?
Yeah, when I
What
was
do you mean-
watching
what do you
that
mean
in the
front of
movie
you?
theater.
Oh, in the theater that happened.
He pooped his pants.
You know, I thought you were in the Never-Ending Story. Like, I never
was
watched that.
Falcor in the Never-Ending Story. I was this hairy always.
You were Falcor.
Falcor the dog in the Never-Ending Story. And
I've never seen that.
You've never seen the Never-Ending Story?
No, I heard the song by Newfound Glory.
Oh shit, that's a thing.
I think
Newfound Glory, like
the
you were everything I wanted.
Yeah, that's exactly them.
No way.
Yeah, they had a song called Never-Ending Story.
That's
I don't know if it had anything to do with it.
That's what I would be most interested in.
That song.
I'd be most interested in, like, in the sense of going home and getting onto Wikipedia and reading about it and then never thinking about it after that. That's what I would be interested. Like, oh, okay, it wasn't? Cool. Done.
All right.
100%.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Let's Get Trashed in the Can. You've already heard my In the Can outro that I copied and pasted from a previous episode. And it's an extra special episode of Let's Get Trashed in the Can because I have one of my best friends in the entire world, Clarence Riley the Fourth, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, guys. Hey, how are y'all doing? Thank you, Nick. That's much warmer of an introduction than I expected. I've got a whole list of bad things I wanted to say, like things about gingers. You see how he smiles when he laughs? All of that. He's a little taller than me, which is intimidating.
You see how he smiles when he laughs. So
he's a little intimidating, I'll be honest. He's good at like seven different things, and you hate him for it the whole time.
You're not supposed to smile when you laugh. That's like it'd be weirder to not. That's more vampiristic to laugh and not smile.
You know that. What a segue.
Speaking of a warm welcome, imagine getting dragged into this nightclub and having blood splatter on top of you.
And you know, I'm not even sure that it's warm. That's something I've thought about.
I don't know. I think cold blood would be like a problem.
Well, see, it'd be like if you were, like, let's say it's something you wanted to eat, right? You want it at your preferred temperature. And if you're drinking blood from people, you want it at 98.6 degrees. It'd be like if you were like, oh, bring me a prime rib, but ice fucking cold. That would be a problem. What I'm saying is I agree with you, and thank you for inviting me on your podcast.
Yeah, so as you know from the title, and as you might know from I'm talking about a nightclub full of blood, we are talking about 1998's Blade.
Blade, yes. Directed by Stephen Norrington.
Yeah, Stephen Norrington, written by David S. Goyer. And we'll get it, David S. Goyer, who he wrote all three Blade movies and directed the third one, which is why the third one's the worst, because he's a terrible director. But he's actually a pretty solid writer because he wrote all three of the Nolan Batman movies.
That is true. That is something that cannot be understated. Although, depending on your feelings, he also wrote Man of Steel.
Yes,
and
right. He writes a lot of
Batman.
He writes a lot of bad stuff. Even Blade is bad. But
even a blind pig finds a truffle.
What I've heard in my research is that David S. Goyer considers himself he's a structural storyteller. He doesn't so he doesn't even think he's that good of a writer. He says he can write structure, and he writes like the beats of the story and like what happens first, what happens next, all that kind of stuff. Oh, Tracy Lords just got kicked in the face. Awesome.
Oh yeah, Tracy Lords is in this, guys.
Yeah. But anyway, he's story only, but all the other stuff like detail and dialogue and actual characters, he's bad at. But he says he doesn't care because they brought in Wesley Snipes to be Blade. They gave him a pretty bad script and said, just do what you kind of want to do. As long as we get from this scene to this scene and all these like beats happen, you're allowed to play with it and just blade it up.
Exactly. Like they actually had to have Wesley Snipes kind of hold back on some of the things that he was doing, specifically during fight scenes, because cameras were not able to catch him actually moving. As this is martial arts.
Really?
Yeah, that's actually true. That is very true.
I don't believe that.
No, look at it's true insofar as I read it on the internet.
Oh, fair enough.
Which should be the name of my next podcast. Nobody steal that.
It's such a thing to be like, Wesley Snipes moves too fast for 1998 cameras. I've seen Bruce Lee movies.
That's true.
I watched Jackie Chan movies from the 80s. I'm well aware of how fast somebody can move on a camera. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna take my whiskey and leave. No, that's just what I'd heard. And you know what? I'd actually heard the same thing or something similar about Bruce Lee. Maybe not Jackie Chan, but I had also heard that Bruce Lee was asked to kind of slow down, not necessarily pull his punches. That might not have been the right terminology, but they were asked to slow down just for frame rates. It's the same reason that you don't. Well, you know what? That's another conversation. Oh, by the way, what were you just saying? That
just
fist bump?
Yeah, the 90s fist bump, the booyah that he does.
Yes.
So we have it on in the background, folks. Obviously, this is not a watch-along podcast. Although we could do a commentary track someday.
But that's not. I feel like we're about 6 minutes into one right now.
Yeah, that's not what this is. That's not what this is intended to be. I threw it on in the background for vibes. All right.
Yeah.
I threw it on just because something's got to be on the TV. I need as much. I don't have any lights. I need as much illumination in the room as possible.
I also don't. Yep.
Because I have my own black vampire here on the couch with me, and I'd hate for him not to show up.
That's part of the reason that black don't crack. We're all vampires. Every one of us. Sorry, guys. You were right.
Yeah, that's why you're my resident Blade expert. That's why I had to come to you to talk about the Blade series.
That's why I brought out my one black V-neck for this podcast. I'm just that's the biggest joke here because that's all I fucking wear.
As a matter of fact, so this movie was your recommendation because I was trying to get you on the pod. I wanted you to. I was willing to talk about anything.
Right.
And even though I normally do contemporary movies, I have done at this point one older movie, or an in the can episode of Let's Get Trashed about Midnight in Paris. And then you wanted to bring up Blade because this is one of your favorite movies and a movie you've seen a million times and can talk about anytime you want.
That's correct. Yeah, I've seen this movie over 4 film mediums. I've seen it over VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, and streaming. And even through all bragging real big, ladies, hit me up. Even through all of that, I'm still just I'll watch it. I'll be like, oh, that guy was even this guy who's right there. That looks like. Well, yeah, I'll tell you later. Don't worry. That looks like your old bandmate. Sorry, your old bandmate. A little bit, doesn't he? Doesn't he?
You think the assistant hematologist that's trying to hook up with the female lead? You know what? Damn, that's actually a really good point. I never noticed that.
You know what?
That is pretty funny.
If he wanted a quick Halloween costume, he just needs to buy a pair of secondhand scrubs. That's it. And Luke is well.
I don't think anybody would get that reference.
Yeah, well,
I'm the.
I hope they do.
I'm the evil hematologist. I'm the coroner. I'm the coroner ex-boyfriend of what's her name in the movie?
That is Dr. Karen Jensen. She's played by Bush Wright, and she's as far as I know, this is one of her only film credits. As far as I know.
Interesting, yeah, and she's good in it. Well, let me ask you, because I've seen the whole Blade trilogy. Obviously, I didn't see them when I was younger. I was older when I actually finally watched all of them. But what is it? What do you love about this series? What do you love about Blade?
All right, so like when I was a kid, I never really identified with being like anything other than kind of like a metalhead alternative sort of thing. You know, that's the music that I like, that I listen to. And Blade was the first kind of character of my color that fit into that aesthetic that I could model myself after. It was either Blade or Morpheus. And so when I had hair, it was Blade. When I didn't have hair, it was Morpheus. That's how that kind of worked out. But seriously, I mean, right now we're looking at Blade come through the hospital and punch this charred vampire in the face. And he looks like an absolute badass. He's about to turn around and say, "Motherfucker, are you out of your goddamn mind?"
Oh, yeah. Ugh.
Yeah. And look right here.
Yeah.
He does it. And that kind of power that he exhibited as a black man wearing all black, which is something I wanted to be, I identified with. Plus, I was also really super into the whole headbanger metal aesthetic, which fits in nicely with your Hot Topic vampire aesthetic.
Interesting. Yeah, you still wear all black.
I do.
Have always since I've known you.
Correct.
And we've been friends for 14 years at this point. 15.
Yeah, we've been friends since 2007.
Yeah, so we've been friends a long time. And you've always worn that. I didn't realize that your outfit was Blade inspired.
Well, no, that's the thing. Like I always wanted to wear all black, and I always kind of did. Blade gave me permission to do
Blade
so.
Justified it.
Yeah, like I could tell,
right.
and people would call me. And all right, so full disclosure, I still own at least 5 floor-length dusters.
Damn.
None of them in leather, but I still own them. And there's a whole other story about that. That'll be on my podcast, The Duster Cast.
The Duster Cast. That's such a sick name for a podcast.
Don't steal that, guys.
The Duster Cast. That's sick. Well, and it's important to remember. Speaking of, you brought up Morpheus, which is a great point. Something I was going to bring up, but it's important to remember. It's important to remember a lot of things about this movie, Blade. It came out in 1998.
Mm-hmm.
It came out. So there's a lot of things that are important about it. There's a lot of milestone stuff about it. It came out a year before The Matrix.
Correct.
So
correct.
Trench coat techno vibes. In the 90s, people give The Matrix a lot of credit for that when they should be giving that credit to Blade.
You know,
because techno nightclub, I mean, you said metal headbanger. I always got more of a techno vibe from all of this because there is like, I guess because of that blood nightclub in the beginning, blood coming out of the ceiling, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. From the very first scene, the only scene that Tracy Lords is in, who's third on the bill. She's like third or fourth billed, and she's out of the movie in 4 minutes.
That's true. Well, she does get shot in the head with a silver stake by Blade after hissing at him.
And kicks in the face too. She,
that's true.
That's pretty cool. But anyway, this kicked off late 90s techno trench coat vibes that The Matrix overshadowed it and got a lot of credit for that. But Blade doesn't get the credit it deserves for starting that trend. And furthermore, Blade doesn't get the credit it deserves for being like the first like Marvel movie, and it was like it's a hit like kickoff. I mean Marvel wasn't really doing anything. There was like a 1970s Captain America that's really bad.
That's correct.
Looks like a TV kind of movie, but
there was actually even a TV series, if I'm not mistaken, for the old Captain Marvel. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
That's all right. But of course. I mean, there was TV series at this time, even before this.
But movies,
the X-Men cartoon series,
mm-hmm.
the Spider-Man animated series. But this Blade was like the first major motion picture put out by Marvel and New Line Cinema.
Correct.
And does a lot of things that they haven't. Well, I guess not that they haven't done since, but starring a black female lead,
R-rated.
R-rated. That's something they haven't done since that, except for Deadpool.
Correct, and that was kind of released under the Marvel banner.
Yeah, that was the only one that.
Right? That was like
No.
that wasn't an MCU. That was like, oh, that's Marvel, but it's not real Marvel.
No, Deadpool's not part of that. Deadpool is so he's like technically he falls under the X-Men property,
Right.
which means he's Sony.
No.
Well, no, he's Fox.
He's Fox.
He's Fox.
Well, then
But-
Marvel or Disney
Disney bought Fox.
Yeah, they bought Fox.
Disney bought Fox, but Deadpool 1 and 2 came out before that merger.
Mm-hmm.
So Fox put out those R-rated movies. Disney, I think it's yet to be decided what they do. And longtime listeners of the pod have heard me trash Disney and Marvel for a long time. I was, I'm anti comic book movies. I'm anti Marvel. Blade is an exception. I don't think I'll go back and rewatch. I've watched the first 10 years of Marvel. I won't go back. I'm never going to watch Iron Man again. I'm never going to watch
Takes,
Avengers
guys.
again.
Hot takes.
I'm just done. I can't care anymore. I might watch Blade again. I'm watching it right now. I might watch it again someday because there's something compelling about it. What is it? What is it that's like so good?
I think one of the things that touches on the edges of what you're talking about is that this doesn't depend on you having seen Iron Man or having seen the Hulk. You can watch Blade 1 and be fine. And if you want to, Blade 2 exists. It is there. It's a great movie. Maybe not bother with Blade 3, but it doesn't. It's not like there's a Blade cinematic universe that you have to keep up with.
Well,
right?
not now. Not yet. I'm sure they're going to bring him back.
I think that it's better. No, and Blade being part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that doesn't change the fact that these movies exist.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But that also doesn't change the fact that, like, the original Spider-Mans, like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans exist, and the other kid?
And, they could always just multiverse Wesley Snipes back into the MCU, and then
That would be
that.
awesome. There's no way, there's no chance in hell that Wesley Snipes is going to be part of the. Whenever they do bring Blade back into Avengers 7, there's no way it's Wesley Snipes.
Avengers
they
7, too many Avengers.
Disney won't do that. It's gonna be, And can you imagine Blade like next to Spider-Man having sassy quips? Blade and Tom.
Well, actually,
Blade and Tom Holland fighting back to back against some CGI bullshit, and they're just sassy quipping each other. Like,
I will tell you this. I'm going to tell you this right now. There is a sassy quip in this movie that we do need to talk about. It's one of my.
is the one at the end?
It's the one at the end where he.
I know the story behind it.
Yeah.
too.
Okay. All right. That is one of my favorite moments. We'll save it for the pod, which we're on right now. But
That's one of your favorite moments.
that is one of my favorite moments for what went into it. I'm just gonna hold this motherfucker. For what went into it, and for what was like, what it represented, and we'll talk about it later. We'll get into it, but it's just such a fever dream to think that movies were made like this, where people were allowed to just kind of like, oh yeah, this is do whatever.
Yeah, so that goes into what I was talking about. You're absolutely right. We'll get into it right now because that's what I was talking about with David S. Goyer being a structure guy. He writes. He is particularly proud of the beats of the story he writes. I'm not even going to say they're that great, but he's a structure guy. He's not too particularly interested in like the details of the dialogue, and so they gave Wesley Snipes a lot of freedom to do stuff, but that's why tonally it's actually kind of all over the place, because Blade goes from being this, he's serious and gruff when we first see him. He's fighting. He's kind of antagonistic to that first vampire he like captures and he blows him up, the fire guy. He's got like a mean streak to him. And then the next fight scene in the hospital when he's saving the hematologist, he's fighting and then he breaks his gruff streak when the security guards shoot him. He turns and does the what the hell you motherfuckers doing or whatever he says, and then it becomes
Let's quote that.
Yeah, whatever it is, it becomes like that's like a cheesy black guy line.
Yeah,
he's being serious. What the hell y'all doing? Like he does. He does that for 1 second, and then he's back to being like serious Blade.
It's a little bit of a blaxploitation thing, right? Like the "I'm gonna get you, sucker" sort of thing.
Yes,
a little bit. And I don't mean to say that to make fun of it, but because them niggas was doing what they did. Sorry, can I do that on this podcast?
You can do whatever you want. Yeah, I don't have sponsors. Say whatever you want. Also, you're black. You're allowed to say
This is sponsored by Squarespace. You're going to have to bleep that rather
No, I
than
won't. I don't care. I won't. Yeah.
No.
Nobody will find out.
Seriously, it is a little bit of that. And I think that if I may just...
Go ahead.
Yeah, to diving board off of the point I think you were trying to make, like...
Your mouth.
Sorry. To diving board off of the point you were trying to make... I think that you hit the nail on the head. They were able to kind of like, okay, this isn't a this movie. This isn't a whatever movie. This is us making a movie.
Yeah.
This actually feels like more of a film rather than just like a formulaic, okay, Marvel movie. There's going to be a big blue sky beam at the end of this. You all know it.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
That's true. What's interesting? I mean, but you're right. But the thing is, the fact is, if they did it, the whole thing, like you said, blaxploitation style, as like a throwback to that era of cinema, that'd be cool. If they took the whole thing, seriously, thank God she takes her hand off that.
Right.
If they took the whole thing seriously and made it this serious, whatever, then that would be another style of doing it. But the fact is, because it was not written, because it was poorly written, and they gave Wesley Snipes a lot of freedom, he got to improv, and that kind of whatever mood he was in at the time changed the tone of that scene. However, the point you're getting to, your favorite line from the end of the movie, after he beats our antagonist,
right?
He says, give us the line. Give us the line, Clarence.
All right. He says, Wesley Snipes at the very end of the movie, well, near the very end of the movie, he basically has his big dick half-hour line where he looks towards the camera and he says, "Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill." He does a kick and he uses that kick to shoot something into our antagonist and just end him.
Yeah, that kick is like the exclamation point, and he kicks another needle into him.
Yes, a bottle of EDTA. It's a blood anticoagulant. I've watched this movie 1,000 times, you guys.
He kicks one last tube of cure into the bad guy, and that kills him.
Yeah, it makes him explode.
Now, here's the interesting thing about that line, because that's one of the few lines I know of that was, or one of the few like odd lines that was not a Wesley Snipes like choice or improv. He fought against that line. Here's how nerdy this fucking white screenwriter and white director are. They're having a meeting. They're having like a pre-production meeting with Wesley Snipes, and they're like talking about the movie. This is before filming. They're talking about the movie. They're talking about the characters. What do you think this guy's like? What do you think you want Blade to be like? What do you think about this guy? What do you think about so and so? At the same meeting or whatever, one of these meetings, he convinces them they were going to hire somebody else for the role of blood doctor, the hematologist.
Dr. Karen Jensen.
Dr. Karen. He convinced him to hire a black actress.
Really?
That was Wesley's decision. He's like, you should hire a black actress for this, because they had somebody else in mind.
That was not on the IMDb page that I read to become an expert on this movie. No, seriously, that's not something I actually realized.
That was a Wesley Snipes advocation was hire a black female lead, make that character black. And nowadays we see a lot of that kind of stuff, and we understand like the cultural significance or even importance of that kind of decision. But this is 1997 when they're filming this. 1996 maybe when they're in pre-production.
Mm-hmm.
That Wesley Snipes making that decision or encouraging that is not insignificant. However, at this same series of meetings, what do you think about this character? What do you think about this character? Wesley Snipes goes, when talking about Stephen Dorff's character, evil vampire, whatever the fuck.
Deacon Frost.
Deacon Frost. He's like, what do you think about the main bad guy, Deacon Frost? Wesley Snipes goes, man, that's the kind of motherfucker that's always trying to ice skate uphill. He says that. He says that like that's like down home wisdom. That's
Exactly.
that's his like down home wisdom that he's giving into the thing. These two comic book dork white guys, Norrington and Goyer.
Yeah.
They fell in love with this. Like, it's the first bit of down home wisdom they've ever heard in their life. I don't know what, they're both from fucking San Francisco or some, shitty town. They told him you have to say that. They put that in the script, and he goes, no, I don't want to say that at the end of a fight. That doesn't make any sense there. He fought against it, and they're like, no, you have to say it. It's the coolest thing I've ever heard.
I had not heard that story of it. I heard that it was an ad lib on the day, and I hope I'm mistaken because your story is so much better. But I heard that it was an ad lib on the day of many, and that it was one of the last. And Goyer said, "I wish I'd written that." That might be.
I heard the opposite. I heard that he shoehorned that in because he thought it was so cool.
I am a phony expert, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I apologize.
That's all right. This is a no fact podcast.
This isn't Radiolab.
This is a no fact check. If either one of us are wrong, I don't want to hear it. Don't you dare leave a comment, like, and subscribe.
Absolutely.
But if your comment says anything discrediting anything I or my guest host say, you better not.
Fucking quit.
Unacceptable.
I can't have it.
This is a no facts podcast. I've been very clear about
no fact podcast. Yeah. Hashtag no facts.
Yeah, no fact checking. All right. Okay.
By the way, we stepped over one of my other favorite lines here. There's this UV light that Blade uses later, and he gets it to, like, Whistler hands it to him.
Yeah.
Blade grabs it and he's like, "It's still heavy," and Whistler says, "Well, you're so big," and it's just left right there on the table. It's not like it's a joke. It's just left right there on the table, and I love it. I love it. There are so many great lines here. Like, there's going to be this part where they burn the big... There's going to be this part where they burn the big vampire archivist.
Yeah.
And...
Oh, in the sun?
With the sun ray thing, yeah. And they... She's like... Blade's like, "If he moves, fry him." And then he barely moves, and Dr. Karen just, like, fucking fries him and just says, "He moved."
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
And that goes to what you were saying. Like, it's not just kind of stuck in this genre of, this is Underworld. Right?
Yeah.
Or, like, this is "I'm gonna get you, sucker," or this is Black Dynamite. It's kind of a little bit of each of those things. It's a really nice mosaic that a lot of superhero movies don't get to step out of.
It's a little bit of it's a little bit of everything. It is very funny. It's fun. It's funny because it takes itself seriously enough to really allow it to kind of be funny without being like, again, without being, I always use this word, quippy, talking about like the current slate of Marvel movies, which is just some of like the worst written, dialogue I've ever heard. This has some general funny moments, some funny, like, I don't know. And again, it's rated R. Let's talk about Chris Christopherson.
Chris Christopherson doesn't get enough work. Was in one of the versions of that movie that Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga did.
He was one of the Stars Borns.
He was one of the Stars Borns.
Damn. Well, he wasn't. He
was on the deep end. He was getting over. He'll never be held down. That was the thing about Chris Christopherson. He was I'm not sure if that song was in the original cut, but
No, I think that's only for the Gaga version.
And then that
I don't know
version,
what song they used
that
for the other
awkward
ones.
version in the Oscars. They had that one too. Anyway. We're not here to talk about that.
You know what? That's funny. That was Blade and the new A Star Is Born are almost like vice versa, because Star Is Born, two white main characters with Dave Chappelle black sidekick, which is the exact opposite of Blade. Two black main characters, Chris Christopherson white sidekick.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And you know what? I had absolutely forgotten tangent. I had absolutely forgotten that Dave Chappelle was like, yeah, man, I'll do that.
Yeah.
And he just was in that movie as Bradley Cooper's best friend. When was the only time or ever other than that movie that you saw fucking Bradley Cooper and Dave Chappelle together?
All the time. They're like really good friends.
Are they really?
Yeah.
It's like for real?
Yeah. When Dave Chappelle won the
That's his token white guy.
yeah, that's just no. Neil Brennan's just token white guy.
Oh, that's right, Neil.
He just pointed to me. For our audio listeners, Clarence just pointed at me after he said token white guy. No,
I know a ton of white guys.
When Chappelle won the Mark Twain Award, the Mark Twain Comedy Award, besides Neil Brennan, I mean, there was plenty of white people there. It's a fucking Mark Twain Award at the Kennedy Center in D.C. But
kidding.
Bradley Cooper was one of the
keynote speakers sort of thing.
Yeah, it was one of the presenters talking about his relationship with Dave Chappelle. And then also that very famous Dave Chappelle monologue, SNL monologue, one of the first or second times he hosted SNL.
Was it pre-Trump or during Trump or after Trump?
It was the day. It was the Saturday after the election. It was,
okay,
so
I
it
know
was
the one you're talking about.
Yeah, the November, whatever. It would have been November 8th or November 10th, 2016, right after Trump won. Mm-hmm. He's talking about when he goes to the White House. He goes to the Obama White House for some party, and it was like BET, and it was like an all black everybody except for Bradley Cooper for some reason. That's part of the joke, is that Bradley Cooper's just there, and then the other part of that is Bradley Cooper goes. Later on, he goes, I was there because you invited. I was your guest. So yes, they're like good friends for some reason.
That is great. You know what? That is I always like to see like a white person and a black person in a like friendship. I always whenever I'm with, whether it's a friend of mine or anybody, it doesn't care. I don't care if it's my mom or my brother. I'm like, these guys are solving racism right now. They're solving racism. They're being friends. They're going to go play Frisbee at the park later with a picnic. They are solving racism. And that's what we're doing here, man. I've got a picnic.
Yeah.
Right back. No, but
yeah, we're a multiracial friendship.
this is it. Yeah.
I never thought we were solving anything, but I'm glad I'm glad you think so.
In a lot of ways, you're more Hispanic. I'm half Hispanic, by the way, guys. Hi. Viva la raza. In a lot of ways, you're more Hispanic than me. You grew up in the Valley, and we're literally filming this on a camera that's on a conga.
Oh, yeah. I don't have a good camera stand, so I put this little tripod on top of one of my conga drums.
And the amount of congas I have is 0.
That doesn't make me... regardless.
Irregardless.
That's funny. That is funny to just to notice interracial friendships or like relations. It's 2022, and you're still pointing out like, hey, those guys are,
dude.
Those two guys on a Lime scooter. One of them's black and one of them's white in Austin. It's 2022 in Austin. We're supposed to just all be friends.
No, and that's what to bring it back home here. Really, seriously. That's what I actually love about this Whistler-Blade relationship. Boom. Bringing it back. The Whistler-Blade relationship, like, Whistler raises Blade, right? It's not a thing of, like, uplifting a Negro or anything like that. It's not somebody who's, like, blind, like, the blindsiding him. You know what I mean?
It's
not doing that.
He's not Whistler's not Christoph Waltz from Django Unchained.
Although, Christoph Waltz isn't even that bad. I mean,
No, he's great.
He's not Sandra Bullocking it from The Blind Side.
Sandra Bullock.
That's what it was.
That
like,
was an egregious example.
hey, you don't know how to play football? I'm going to teach you how to play football and look 5'2", girl.
Well, you know what's funny about in that movie is that like there's like 5 or 6 different times in The Blind Side where Sandra Bullock, like, in order to really drive home to the audience the fact that this kid is like a poor orphan,
A porphin, but yes.
there's 5 or 6 instances where Sandra Bullock has to learn something about him. Like, she's like, did your mom not read this book to you? And he's like, no. And she's like, oh my God. And there's like sad music, and she's struggling. I can't believe nobody ever read Charlotte's Web to this kid. And then fucking 4 minutes later, he's like, did you not sleep in a bed on your own at your old house? And he's like, I didn't even have a house. And she has to have that emotion that she has like 6 of those. It's like, we would have got it after 1, but Sandra, even in the movie, the Sandra Bullock character just cannot grasp poverty. She
Wait, do you mean that you took your Kool-Aid in from packets?
Yeah,
and y'all had to dissolve the sugar in your. Sorry, I know I'm being real racist, but I come by it honestly, niggas. What's up?
Yeah, Sandra Bullock's there taking him out to dinner, and she's like, "You mean you've never eaten at a Ruth's Chris Steakhouse?" Like, she's fucking flabbergasted every 12 minutes in this movie about this black kid that she captured off the street. That's the other thing.
You've never had food inside of a Texas land and cattle? Oh my God. They bring you all the bread and butter you want. You've never eaten at an Olive Garden? Hear your family.
You've never used a whalebone spoon for caviar? Like, bitch, why are you bringing this up constantly?
See, it could go both ways, right? Like, oh my goodness. You've never wiped your ass with the 3 seashells? That's a Demolition Man.
Seashells, that's another Wesley Snipes movie.
And you know what? Same haircut for Wesley Snipes as in Blade.
Yeah, but
different color.
He wasn't changing his haircut. He was not known for changing his haircut between movies.
You know what? Wesley Snipes is a lot of things. A really, really, really great actor. I'm not sure is one of those things. Don't get me wrong. He's good. It's not like he's Steven Seagal, which if we ever get a chance, we will have a conversation about Steven Seagal.
Should we do a Seagal episode?
We should definitely do a Seagal episode.
I'll have to rewatch a bunch of Seagal movies. We'll.
Oh man, I don't know about a bunch. I don't know if I want to rewatch.
No, well, that's the thing. Cause I don't want to talk.
Absolutely.
I don't want to talk. Hard Target's one of his, right?
All right.
Or is that
Hard to Kill?
Hard to Kill. Van Damme is Hard Target.
Right. Under Siege.
Under Siege.
Me and my sister.
We have to pick a couple of them.
Me and my sister have this theory that any Steven Seagal movie that has 3 words or 3 syllables is a good one. Any that does not is not a good one.
Wesley
Snipes.
Wesley Snipes started doing, and this was a Patrice O'Neill observation from 2010.
R.I.P. dude.
I know, he was the best.
R.I.P.
He made an observation. They were talking about when Wesley Snipes was going to jail for tax fraud back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, man, all of Wesley Snipes' movies in the late 2000s, they all end in or. Like the detonator and the contractor and the executor. It's like every single movie is that.
Yep.
That's so because he started doing straight to video. Wesley went straight to video. It's interesting, I don't know what it is about. I guess Wesley Snipes couldn't find more, or maybe the industry changed. Why did Wesley lose? Why did he stop being a star? Because he's in some great. I mean, Blade is great. I mean, Blade is good, and it's a huge moneymaker for him. Stallone movie is that's a classic action film from the 80s.
You're talking about Demolition Man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then his best movie is White Men Can't Jump.
Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson.
And then Money Train with Woody Harrelson back in the day.
Oh, yeah. He was Money Train.
We need to do a movie. We need to do a bargain bin DVD podcast about just the...
We just said we're going to do a what's his name? Fuck, not Stallone. Seagal.
Seagal.
That is the Bargain Bin
Yes.
podcast. The Bargain Bin podcast. That, you know what? A Bargain Bin ep where we just burn through. That's our new series, folks. Let's get trashed. The Bargain Bin.
This is why we're friends, because he can make a joke and I can get it before he's done making it. That's the whole thing. He's sitting here in the middle of making this joke and I'm already getting it. Dude, good shit. Absolutely. Good poop. Sorry. Censoring myself for the YouTube.
You don't have to do that.
We're about 30 minutes in. We're good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, that would be a great series, dude. Just like all the knockoff movies, instead of Transformers, it's Transmorphers. You know?
Yes, that's right. Transmorphers was one. I forgot about that.
They're all of these
all that
little
kind of stuff.
like rip-off stuff. And even then, Steven Seagal is like ripping off. Steven Seagal's new movies rip off the idea of old Steven Seagal movies. That's what they do.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, you remember how you kind of thought that this guy was a badass? Well, how about if somebody else kind of thought that too, but did it worse? There he is. He's sitting down as a sniper, just in a, folding chair.
Speaking of sitting down, we're about to get to...
we're about to get to Pearl.
We're about to get to Pearl. Which this is even before... This predates my 600-pound life.
This would be a TLC series. My
Pearl, yeah.
My 1,000-pound vampire.
The Pearl, the morbidly obese vampire archivist, vampire like.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
I have watched this movie so many times. I have never once heard an explanation for why there are rubber duckies in the pool. I have never once heard an explanation.
Yeah, at Stephen Dorff's apartment.
Yeah, and they actually filmed this at his real apartment. That's an actual fact.
No, ladies and gentlemen, no, it's not.
He put that hair on his chest. He's hairless for those of you who aren't following along with the movie.
Well, nobody should be following. This is not a watch along podcast.
No, this will be definitely cut down, and I hope he leaves this in.
I don't edit. That's fucking. That's
okay. All right. This is not a watch along, but it's quickly turning out to be.
Let's talk a couple things.
Yes,
a couple things interesting, specifically with regards to like the women characters in this movie. Okay. I thoroughly enjoy the fact that we have a black lead and a black female lead. We have a male lead and a female lead, and in a comic book movie, and they're not love interests.
That is true.
There's no between Blood Doctor and Blade. There's no like sexual tension. At no point do we ever think they're gonna stop hunting vampires to fuck each other. It's they're just two fleshed out characters that both have their own thing. She's not, and she's also not some like pointless damsel in distress,
yes.
Useless bitch either. She's got stuff to do. She's working hard creating...
Hashtag not a useless bitch. There we go.
She's creating sciencey shit. She creates she cures vampirism. They give it to her kind of. They give it to her kind of easy,
and then they forget about it in the other. We'll talk about.
What's funny is that she found out about vampires fucking yesterday, and she's the best. She works at a city hospital in New York. She's not a research scientist. She just happens to work. She's doing blood. She's testing my dad's fucking blood sugar for New York City Hospital.
Oh, this guy's got high ketones.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, and then she finds out about vampires. She meets Chris Christopherson and Blade, and then 2 days later, she cures vampires. This woman is fucking incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, and they don't ever. And here's the thing, guys. Spoiler alert for this 24 fucking year old movie.
Yeah, there's no such thing as spoilers for a 1998 movie. If you haven't seen Blade, that's your fault.
Exactly. It's on HBO Max right now. You can bootleg it easily, I've heard. Anyway, the thing is, she cures vampirism in this movie, and they still made 2 sequels because they knew.
Well, hold on. You're right. But in Blade 2, when they capture Chris Christopherson and they vampire him up, they give him that cure. They give him the cure. It does carry over.
It does. Okay, so there. But it's
She doesn't carry over.
Here's the thing. All right, here I'm getting deep into Blade lore. You
Do
have the cure, and it kind of does carry over into Blade Trinity, which guys we're gonna forget about that in the series.
No, I want to talk Blade Trinity. I have a few things I want to talk about.
Okay, all right, we can talk Blade Trinity, and I know one of the things already, and its initials are D.S. Goyer. Anyway, it does kind of carry over there because they like make a fucking arrow for a bow and arrow that has a cure in it. And
oh yeah, that
it,
special cure for the main
antagonist.
Oh, for actual Dracula. That's who that was.
Spoiler alert, guys.
Dracula's the bad guy in Blade 3.
Vampire Trinity. It's just it's okay. I guess the thread does carry through. I was wrong about that, but it doesn't carry through in a satisfying arc.
Well, she's not around to be like given the to be a source of continuity.
That's true, and I don't know how many other roles she had ever.
Yeah. So Blade 1, Stephen Dorff is trying to awaken the Blood God.
Correct.
Which is I don't even La Magra. I don't even understand what that like means particularly. Oh, here's the he moved line. But yeah, so Stephen Dorff has to like take over. There's the High Council of Vampires that Stephen Dorff like infiltrates. He's not a pure blood vampire.
Correct.
Let's talk about the world, the vampire world that Blade inhabits.
Right.
Because there's a lot of vampires, and they have they tattoo their subservience
with a glyph.
Yeah.
A glyph. Yeah. And I'll tell you this, man, when I was a kid, I was so obsessed with this movie. I used to like try to figure out how I would
have a tattoo?
No.
You don't have a Blade glyph
tattoo?
No.
Other than the tattoo that makes me appear like a black man, I do not have a tattoo.
What's the tattoo that makes you appear like a black?
Oh, all of this brown skin.
You full body tattooed. You're white.
Every time I get a stretch mark, I have to go get a touch up.
You full body tattooed your body to be black.
My name is Clarence Riley the Fourth. I'm definitely full white.
I'm gonna edit this video so you look like you're wearing boat shoes and you're gonna be wearing khaki shorts.
I'm gonna be wearing one of those catfishing shirts, not like catfishing on the internet.
You're gonna be wearing a Magellan.
A Magellan, yeah.
Or a Columbia fishware.
I'm gonna be holding a kingfisher. Just like a kingfisher's a big prestige fish. Big prestige fish. I know a lot more about fishing than I should. My dad was a big fishing guy. But anyway, getting back to what you were saying about this. Sorry, what were you saying?
So we're talking about Stephen Dorff. We're talking about the world of vampires, and they have their willing minions. They're willing
familiars is what they're
familiars. Thank you. I would not have been able to recapture that word.
No, you're good. It's like a witch's cat, right? Like they're the pets. They're the ones who do all the bidding in the daytime.
Yeah.
And all of that.
But what was the reason? What kept them coming back? Why were the familiars? Because I remember all the familiars being like kind of obsessed with the vampire thing, and they want the vampires to rule the world. But what was the reasoning behind why they would like so willingly betray their race for on behalf of vampires?
Well, when I did it, what
you did it? What did your parents say when you married a white woman?
This just turned into a fucking PBS Frontline. When I did it, I was just trying to make friends, and I didn't know it was a cult. It's essentially kind of that, though. Honestly, like the way that Blade kind of explained it earlier when Dr. Karen Jensen was being attacked by the cop was that the familiars take care of stuff in the daytime as kind of pets.
Yeah.
And if they're lucky, their master will turn around and be like, hey, I'll turn you. I'll make you into a vampire. Vampire?
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
They promised to turn him into a vampire. Oh, I forgot about. I was wondering what could the perk possibly be, but the perk is you get to be a vampire.
You get to turn around and be like, hey, I get to live forever. I get super strength.
So they're like, if I work for you for 6 months, will you bite me?
Probably more than that, honestly.
Well, yeah,
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's like a contractor job. It is 2020, y'all, or 2022, you guys. So contractor jobs are where it's at, I guess. I don't know. That's all I'm finding.
Yeah. If you look,
if anybody wants to hire me,
we'll keep giving you a contract, and then eventually maybe we'll make you full time.
Yeah, we don't have to pay benefits.
Yeah.
It's cool. I won't say what company I work for.
Yeah, you don't have to do that.
But anyway,
Amazon. I'm kidding. I don't actually know where you work. Is that right? If that's right,
it rhymes with Schmamazon and begins with an...
If that's correct, I'll edit it out. Was that right?
No.
Okay,
it's not correct.
All right, never mind.
Actually, it's even better that you said that because I'm trying to get those guys to unionize. So
Trying to get Amazon to unionize?
fuck it, yeah, dude. Why not?
I don't know.
They need it. I'm gonna do whatever I can. If this is the platform I have to use, this blade. Hold on. No, I'm kidding.
Ladies and gentlemen, I brought a black subversive onto Let's Get Trash. He's spreading his.
This is the only tattoo I have.
It's a Black Panther.
It's a Black Panther.
You got the fist tattooed on your chest.
It's like a really shitty done one that I had a guy do when he was like 17, and it was last week. Anyway,
did it ever occur to you to get the Blade glyph tattoo?
I never wanted the Blade like kind of tribal tattoos.
No, not his.
Not his.
Not the. But I mean, like
one of the little
one of the like
familiar ones.
Like you're a familiar.
I wouldn't ever do that because, like, that's betraying Blade. I don't want to ever like betray Blade. He's just like, look at him with that little point on his head. No, I wouldn't ever do that. I briefly thought about the arm and neck tattoo that Blade has.
The actual Wesley Snipes tattoo? Damn.
Yeah, I wanted that. I wanted that for a bit. And you know what? I'll tell you this. This is something else. This is like my personal history, but I saved up at the time it was $79.95 plus tax and shipping to get Blade's glasses from Blade 2.
The silver ones?
The ones that at the end of Blade 2 where Chris Christopherson throws them down to him.
Yeah.
He catches them and he just puts them on. We'll talk about that. We'll get into it. But those glasses, I paid money to get those sent to my actual home and to have them.
That's pretty funny.
And I lost those glasses, man.
Oh, man.
It sucked. It really sucked.
You can find another pair, right?
I'm sure I could. And I haven't really looked. I still have 2 pairs of Morpheus glasses without the arms on them. And
no.
I straight up do. Next one we're doing is The Matrix.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're out of time. I didn't realize my guest had the fucking John Lennon, but only on the nose, worst sunglasses I've ever seen from The Matrix.
Dude, there used to be like, it was like a food truck, but they sold sandals. Or not sandals, sunglasses. Don't know why I said sandals. Used to be this little like truck in the parking lot of a bowling alley when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. And they sold sunglasses and a bunch of knockoffs from a bunch of different movies. I bought these 2 pair of the Morpheus ones. They both broke in the exact same place, but I was able to fix them. And you know what, man? Some of my most enduring sunglasses. I've had them for longer than I've known you, dude. I've had those fucking things for like 20 fucking years. I'm not even kidding.
That's so funny.
And
I don't know if I've ever seen you wear them.
Oh, dude, no, I don't wear them. That's why I've had them for 20 years.
I do know I have never seen you wear them because you would not have heard the end of it from me. You would have had to take them off.
Morpheus sunglasses, you son of a bitch.
You would have had to take them off and leave. You would have just, we wouldn't have been able to hang out whatever night it was.
My wife said the same thing.
Yeah. So anyway, Stephen Dorff, he summons the blood god, or he tries to, whatever. Honestly, story wise, doesn't make sense. Oh, here's Chris Christopherson explaining how he raised Blade. Christopherson is a long-time vampire hunter, and if you have an extra one in there, man, thank you, sir.
Absolutely. I've got to go.
Oh, that's your that's your vape hitting the floor. Yeah,
that was that was embarrassing.
Back in the 90s, Wesley Snipes was so cool, and here you are just vaping and drinking IPAs. You really are white.
I'm gonna get in my Toyota Tundra and leave. I can't stand this. It's a 4x4 for no reason except for that one time we got snow down here in Austin, Texas.
Yeah, we got snow once and you went and bought an all-wheel drive vehicle.
Yeah. And I'm really paying for it with these gas prices. Am I right, folks? Guys.
I legitimately, I drive an all-wheel drive Subaru
it's true.
As anybody that knows me would already know. But I had to just replace all the tires. It's been an expensive month, everybody, which is why I need you to subscribe and so that I can get some sponsors.
Please like and subscribe. Hit that motherfucking notification bell. We need this. I'm not getting any kickback from this.
Kickback? I've got nothing to offer.
I had to just give him a beer.
Yeah, I've got more bourbon and tequila, but that's kind of far away. I'd have to pause.
I don't have to get up and do it.
Yeah,
I'm not
that's why we kept it close.
It's like right. Oh, okay.
Anyway,
No,
you're fine. Let's talk about Blade 2. Honestly, as bad as Blade 3 is, Blade Trinity.
Correct.
I remember it even more than Blade 2. Blade 2 is very unremarkable to me.
Wow. Okay. All right. That's a hot take.
Is that a hot take? I just don't remember it as much. But I watched all three of them back to back, and I had never seen 2 and 3 until recently. So when I watched all of them earlier this year, I was rewatching Blade and I was watching 2 and Trinity for the first time. Mm-hmm. People say Blade 2 is great. I really don't remember it. I only remember there was a new, younger sidekick. Once Christopherson got brought back into the fold because he was missing for vampire reasons. They found him. Brought him back, cured him, and then there's a young kid that had taken over the Whistler spot. And then I remember that kid being a traitor.
Correct.
But I don't remember much else.
Guys. Okay, so that kid played by Norman Reedus, who went on to play Daryl in The Walking Dead.
Okay.
Yeah, and one of the Boondock Saints. That was one of the guys.
Oh.
He was a Boondock Saint before he was
Scud,
which was his character in... I forget what he says, but he's like, my name's something. You can call me Scud, though. Everybody does. And he was watching the Powerpuff Girls. Something about Krispy Kreme. Yeah, no, trust me, dude. Motherfucker. That was part of it. There was a more dangerous breed of pseudo-vampires that, spoiler alerts, guys.
Yeah.
You end up finding out that these pseudo-vampires that are more dangerous were actually bred by vampires.
Yeah, that's right.
Tell your friends.
Yeah, that was the girl, the female lead in that one,
Nisa.
Her dad was the oldest vampire, and he created those, right?
Maybe not he was the head of the vampire.
He was the head of the vampire coalition or whatever.
Coalition, yeah, exactly. His name was Eli Damaskinos, and that guy is played by. Oddly enough, I wish I could double check this, and I wish I'd double check before, but that guy, I believe, is played by a very well-known German actor who you've definitely seen in Quentin Tarantino movies.
You think that's Christoph Waltz?
No, it is definitely not Christoph.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way. Here, I'm looking it up right now. Blade 2.
Eli Damaskinos is his character's name.
Thomas Kretschmann.
Yeah, now look him up. You see him? That guy was the guy who gets...
He's in the...
He's one of the guys in Inglourious Bastards in that bar scene, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, really?
I believe he is.
Maybe. He's not... It's not in his top filmography. Let me see. Inglourious Bastards would have been 2011 or something like that.
Oh, God. We're derailing the prog.
Yeah. No.
Oh, my God.
He's not in that.
Oh, God.
He's a
Oh,
nobody.
God.
That would be his top thing.
Oh, God.
This
I
guy's,
gotta go.
This guy's in a lot of nonsense, man.
I gotta go.
This guy's in stuff
He's in
that
King
sucks.
Kong, I can tell you that much.
Yeah,
and he's
exactly. Nonsense.
He's also in...
Age of Ultron, he's somebody I've never heard of.
Oh, he's Baron von Strucker in Age of Ultron.
Who is that?
He's one of the Hydra guys. He's got a fucking monocle. It's at the beginning of Age of Ultron. Jesus.
He's at the beginning of Avengers 2.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't remember
The worst Avengers. And this is speaking to somebody who I generally like the Marvel movies. Me, my friend, like
Yeah.
it's something. It's a cultural touchdown.
Oh,
in that regard.
most of the country does. Those movies make $1 trillion every time.
Yeah.
I'm well aware that I'm the odd man out by hating this shit. And don't forget, I also put in my time. I liked it for 10 years. I'm just done liking it now. Anyway, yeah. So that was that. So Blade 2.
Blade 2.
That was the new breed of vampires.
Reapers.
They had the Reapers. They had the weird mouth. What I didn't like, I don't know. What I didn't like about Blade 2 is that how quickly they went from vampires into something else. You know what I mean? If they're gonna do that, they should have saved that for Blade 3, because because Blade 1 we're just introduced to the vampire world. He foils one vampire plot. Mm-hmm. Blade 2 we're already at we have a whole new type of super vampire. We didn't even get a second movie fighting just regular ass vampires.
So it was like
because by 2 it's a different race of vampires that was created. And then Blade Trinity, starring Ryan Reynolds, that's fighting that they're trying to make more super vampires using Dracula blood.
They're basically like, hey, Dracula, you wanna make us all daywalkers? And Dracula, to my annoyance a little bit, Dracula's just like, nah. It's like, this is the advancement of your species, and you're just gonna be like, nah, I'm cool.
Well, yeah, he's like the rich, the same reason.
He's the Jeff Bezos of vampires.
Damn it, I was just about to say that. The
Sorry,
same reason Jeff Bezos doesn't give you and me $100,000.
That's true. That's true.
I
could really use it, and he could really afford it.
Yeah,
and
if he was worried about the advancements of his species, but he's not. He's just a a dude.
Wow, this is a whole video essay. Sorry, this is a whole video essay about how Blade 3 is really about capitalism.
Yeah, for sure. And also how it's like the worst acted. So speaking of that, Blade 3 is bad. All the quippy, terrible shit you hate about Marvel movies, and by you I mean me, that you can find in spades in the third
Trinity.
in Blade
In
Trinity.
Blade Trinity, it's really
Ryan Reynolds is, like he always is obnoxiously catchphrasy, and he's just the worst.
Yeah,
he's awful on it. Jessica Biel plays Whistler's daughter.
He had to burp because of that. It's too much.
She's a nightmare, Jessica Biel. And then the worst performance of all, an actors I generally like.
Here it is.
Parker Posey the fake vampire teeth they gave her to film this movie makes her lisp the entire time. So she's like,
fucking hell,
she's the evil bad guy.
We use
talking,
them to
fucking,
fluff you out.
Yeah, we're going to kill you and suck your blood. Like, it's brutal. Just give her, just CGI her teeth if you're going to fucking do that. It's so bad.
John Michael Higgins is in that movie, who is, like, what is that movie? The A Mighty Wind. He's in that movie with Parker Posey. I expected a lot more there.
Oh,
but
that's
then,
so funny. I didn't even put that.
Dude, it's
I
funny,
didn't even think
right?
about them both being in A Mighty Wind.
They were both in that movie. And if I'm not mistaken, they were both in the same band in that movie, weren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the perfect...
This is the crossover episode with A Mighty Wind. We're gonna do this.
This is the perfect black and white podcast. the fact that we've both seen all Blades plus Christopher Guest, the Christopher Guest expanded universe of Mighty Wind and the one about dogs.
Does it? Oh, dude,
Best
fucking
in
Best
Show?
in Show. Yes. What a great. Yes. See. Okay. This is its own other thing now. We just crossed over. We're crossing over into
that's the new series. We watch two movies. We do two movies an episode. The blackest movie we could possibly find and the whitest movie we could find.
Let's Get Wasted, Ebony and Ivory.
Yeah.
There it is.
So we did Blade and A Mighty Wind.
Dude.
Next we're doing Dolomite is my name. We're doing Bowfinger and Best in Show.
Fucking Bowfinger? Heather Graham, Steve Martin, Eddie Murphy, Bowfinger? Holy shit. I have not thought about that movie in 22 years.
I know. We're doing
We're gonna do Black Dynamite, and we're gonna do Eat, Pray, Love. We're gonna figure out the connections between those.
We're doing 48 Hours, and the Royal Tenenbaums.
We're doing the Grand Budapest Motel and The Help. We're doing that on our next one. It's gonna be tomorrow. I'm gonna binge it. I'm gonna do it. I don't need to work. Fuck it. Who cares? We're doing, and then our finale will just be one movie. It'll be that movie with Viggo Mortensen driving Mahershala Ali. We're gonna do the Green Book.
All leading up to Green Book, and then we're just done.
We're done. We'll never do another episode.
There's nothing more cheesily combining black and white than that. That's the ultimate boss. That's the final boss of our black and white podcast.
The final boss after you've watched all other sensitive, culturally appropriated movies.
We watched Dolomite and Annie Hall, and then leading up to Green Book.
And come back next week for Miss Congeniality and Soul Plane.
Soul Plane, damn.
Dude. That's some deep. I'm surprised we haven't mentioned a Medea at this point. Shit.
Yeah, but the truth is those don't count as black movies.
We need to have a Medea, new podcast idea. The Medea cast.
Medea goes to the podcast equipment store.
Hi, y'all. What y'all doing in here? Oh, yeah. I need to get a couple boom mics. I don't know about y'all, but I'm loud as hell.
Sorry, I'm clipping. My apologies.
Is that how she sounds?
Dude,
I've never watched one of those movies.
I've watched. All right, there was somebody who I was trying to fuck at one point. It's not important.
It wasn't important. Just tell the story.
I watched this movie, Diary of a Mad Black Woman. And
Diarrhea of a Mad Black Woman.
Yeah, it was, she said,
I had too many collard greens.
it was just an awful movie. There was nothing about it that was good. The only part I remember is when they that part when they say the line in the movie. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like they say the title of the movie in the movie. You know, like, and now I am a mad black woman. And she's writing it in a diary while narrating it. And she literally clicks the pen, and then the music swells. And that's the only part of that movie I remember. That and Tyler Perry dressing in drag and being like,
I'm Medea, y'all. Hey, y'all want some chicken? I'm about to hit you with a wooden spoon.
I'm not sure if those are lines because I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's such a...
I'm going to take your word for it. I'm going to quote that as a legitimate line for the rest of my life, but I'm never going to watch the movie.
This is going on IMDb.
What if, all right, they bring Blade back into the MCU,
Okay.
but it has to be, it's PG-13, or it's rated PG, and Tyler Perry is Blade. You're going to go see it or not?
I would honestly go see it just to
You want to see Tyler Perry and Kumail Nanjiani? It's Blade and the Eternals, and they do a dance.
Oh, hey there, yeah, I can tell you right now, Blade, you're going to be fine. Sorry. Listen, here's the thing. To all of my Southeast Asian friends and descendants.
That's not where India is, but go ahead.
Shut up. And Indian friends. Sorry. But no, seriously, I would see it just to see what it's like.
And that's the problem.
Well,
too
here's the
many
thing.
people, no matter what Marvel does that's terrible, too many people would just go see it.
No, here's the thing. I wouldn't go see it. I would see it. Now, I would not go to a movie theater and see it. The only reason I saw The Eternals was because somebody paid for it.
Do you subscribe? Okay, it doesn't matter where the money is. Do you subscribe to Disney Plus?
Disney Plus.
Then it doesn't. Then
Well, no, because there is a thing, right? Like, that's only like $12 a month versus the price of a movie ticket, which upwards of $20 these days.
No, where?
Where do you go see movies?
I go a lot of places, but I don't know. Draft House is only $12.50 for a ticket.
$12.50.
You spend way more if you get a drink and a pizza or whatever.
We've
hamburger.
always done the kind of
Regal Cinemas is like, because I go to Regal on Westgate a lot, or I used to. Regal is like $12 or $13. You know.
Well, we go and, aside from the food, the earlier you get to the release, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's always a little more expensive. So you're going on opening night, like for this new Thor movie or something like that. Mm-hmm. That dates this podcast.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't matter whether it's June, it's July 5th. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't know when I'm putting this out because I've got a couple. I've already got a couple recorded. I almost said a couple in the can, but this is in the can. I can't use the actual terminology. This is in the can.
This is in the can. We're here with.
This might come out this week because it's such a fun one. Yeah, I might rush it out.
This has been a lot of fun. This really has.
We're at an hour and some change. We talked about. I mentioned all the things I wanted to on Blade Trinity, which is Parker Posey's lisp, and how terrible Ryan Reynolds is in it. He's the same in everything. He stinks.
I'll tell you this.
He's good. Deadpool was good, and the first time you ever saw him, which was Van Wilder, the Burt Kreischer story, he's good because that's like what he's supposed to be. But once you see him in a third thing when he's exactly that same thing, you're like, damn, this sucks.
The right paint on the wrong canvas is something to like, yes, it's something to acknowledge. And that's so often what Ryan Reynolds is.
That is the right. This is like some Buddhist shit. The right paint on the wrong canvas.
It's true because don't get me wrong. Like if I met Ryan Reynolds, if I went downtown or not even downtown, like if I was fucking going to this convenience store right down the road and I went in to buy, a pack of High Chews, which are the best candy in the world. And Ryan Reynolds was there and he was just like, "Oh, hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. How are you doing? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm Deadpool. Yeah, that's cool. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm fucking Blake Lively." Like, I'm sure he would be a pleasant experience to have.
That's what Clarence thinks white people sound like.
Oh yeah, I'm white people. How are
he's
you?
making fun of all of you.
I'm making fun of specifically Ryan Reynolds, who I think that all white people sound like.
Yeah. That's with that voice.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, seriously though.
Another Dave Chappelle thing. You just tap the microphone against your leg. You just laugh. That's more that's more Dave Chappelle.
I didn't
slapping your knee. Laughing so you're slapping your knee with the microphone.
I really didn't even.
That's what those
mean
two
to do
bumps
that.
were. If you're not watching this
I must
on YouTube.
have gotten that through the most recent Black Guy update over the web. Hey niggas, we tapping mics on our knees.
You get updated. Dave Chappelle sends updates like an iOS.
Yeah, exactly. It's NOS. Anyway, dude.
All right,
Oh,
folks.
we need to call this one off
Yeah.
the rails.
I think
because
we're-
we're far past the part where Whistler actually just. Well, no, we're
Yeah.
just past the part where Whistler was discovered as having been bitten.
Got bitten as a vampire, which they kind of brought him back. They shouldn't have brought him back. He was
Right.
They should have left him like dead, but instead they turned him into a vampire in part 2. Either way,
We are going.
we don't need to go too much like further into this. Oh, they got the girl kidnapped.
That's true. They kidnapped the girl, and Whistler got. And now we're going through this kind of samurai montage where Blade is casting bullets and meditating.
Well, the other
which-
thing is, yeah, he's making silver bullets. It's true. Let's
Right.
talk about one thing. Let's talk about the serum that keeps Blade. This will be the last thing we'll do. The serum,
No, sure.
serum that keeps Blade like sane, and he's not blood hungry like all the other vampires. Oh, actually, there's one more thing I want to address that I don't like about this movie.
Let's hear it.
But
okay, well, let's
but
hear the
before we
serum.
get to- yeah.
Okay,
but-
and by the way, what he was loading up there, the blue liquid,
Yeah.
that is EDTA.
right.
Kids music on Spotify.
Alexa, stop.
She's a Google Play. What is it? What is that? Okay, Google, stop.
We just
I don't know how that happened.
we just had a virtual assistant try to jump in here, and I, for one, am done.
Yeah, Google heard Clarence say the N-word, which has never been said in this house, and it freaked out. And it's like, let me
Kids
play
music?
Kids music. We got to wholesome up this environment. So this serum. If people were vampires in real life,
Right.
if people were, would your insurance cover vampire serum to keep you sane?
Oh man. Okay, so you know I'm a somewhat semi-professional musician. Of
course.
Not on the same level as you are. But how's your insurance on that front, man? Cuz I don't know about you, but what's insurance?
I think it's okay. I got it through a local nonprofit here in Austin
Good stuff,
called
man.
HAM.
HAM.
Shout out to ham.org.
Shout out to him.
Health Alliance for Austin Musicians.
All-
It's HAAM. Please donate to them. They're great.
Absolutely,
They're the reason
please
I have.
donate.
They're the reason I have health insurance. Other than that, either that or make me famous on podcasting, so I can become a podcast millionaire, and then I can just pay. I'll pay for my own insurance.
This is not a bit. This is not sponsored. We just both know a lot of people in the industry, so
Yeah. Nevertheless,
yeah.
the other thing it was like
For me on the serum, for you they would cover it. For me they would not. We'll leave it to the listeners to figure out why that might be.
fair enough. I can't even argue with that. That's funny.
Oh, shit.
Now we're bumping mics
Yeah,
like with
exactly.
Dave Attell and Jeff Ross. All right.
David Tell, holy shit, deep cut. Love that guy.
I think that's almost insulting. David Tell is wildly popular and successful. I don't think he's.
I just remember Insomniac, David Tell.
Yes, dude. How good
One
was
of
that?
my favorite shows from back in the early 2000s.
Early 2000s. Yeah,
Yeah.
It followed Tough Crowd with Colin Quinn.
That's right. That was another one of my favorite. That's
too.
back when Comedy Central wasn't just dishing out shows like they were dealing cards. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, Carlos Mencia has a show. No, Amy Schumer has a show. No, Nick Swartzen has a show. Now Nick Kroll has
Hold
a
on.
show.
Pretend Time with Nick Swartzen was great.
No, I'm just saying
That's a
they were
great sketch
dishing-
show.
But that's still shooting more than you're hitting.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's fair.
Because
Nick Swartzen as Gary Gaga, Lady Gaga's police officer brother, but he wears the mask and glitter on his face, and he's like a Brooklyn cop. He's like he's like a Long Island cop. He talks with the New York accent, but he's wearing feathers on his fucking face with glitter. Gary Gaga. I'm proud of my little.
Oh my God.
I'm proud of my little sister.
Oh my God! Yes.
Ladies out in music. I'm just here, taking my lunch pail to work, being a police officer, but he's wearing the fucking face mask.
That's just how we
Pretend Time with Nick Swartzen was great. That's not what we're talking about.
No.
let's
But I
get-
will say Nick Swartzen's character in Reno 911 always a win.
Terry was hilarious.
Yes.
Let's talk about the one last thing about Blade. What I don't like about Blade 1.
Let's hear it.
I don't like the twist ending with Blade's mother.
Okay. All right. That's something that is.
Not that I have and let me explain myself. Sorry to interrupt.
I do want to hear your. Full
Not that I
thoughts.
have any
do.
objection to the family being ripped up or anything like that. I think it would be a mother betraying her child would be a good storyline or something like that. That's interesting. But what I don't like about it is that there's no real reason for it. Just because she's a vampire, there's plenty of vampires in this, and vampires and familiars in this movie. That was actually a really good cut in. Hold on. Second digression. I'm sorry.
No. You're fine. You're fine.
Blade's about to kill some dude who's just a familiar. He's going don't kill me, I just work for him. And it briefly cuts back to the Chris Christopherson death scene
Yes.
for 1 second, and then it's back to Blade has a flashback to that scene. That cut in for just a second. It's so short, but it tells, and then Blade kills this guy.
It does tell the story.
Blade kills this guy in cold blood who's lying on the ground begging for his life. And it's that flashback it's such a good flashback to point out this is why I'm gonna kill. This is why it shows that he's got no mercy. He's in the go off zone right now.
Yeah, he's definitely giving no quarter. He is taking no prisoners.
Yeah.
He is just taking care of his business until the part where, and this dovetails nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
because
so-
this is the white room that he comes into to kind of come across his mother.
Yeah. And I don't really like this because why did it? His mother became a vampire. Obviously, his mother was a vampire right before he was born, which is why he was born as a regular guy.
It's actually called a dampier. I'm kidding. We're
As a
going to
what?
get comments about that. It's not. There's
What's it
another-
called? I
said
don't
a
remember.
dampier, but that's if it's a female. It's like a lager and a Tygon. There are things people really do understand about this. I get it. That's not where I'm at.
But so my question is, why is his mother evil? What's the
Right?
What's the justification for her? She's a vampire against her will, and she knows that her boyfriend. She's also hooking up with Steven Dorff.
The guy that almost killed her and her son.
Yeah. Wait, Steven Dorff is the one that killed her. That tried to.
You didn't realize that about this?
No, what did I miss?
Oh, okay. All right. So she got bitten by Deacon Frost.
Okay.
And that's the vampire that gave Blade his powers.
Oh.
That's the whole thing there.
I did miss that.
She was able to stay alive, but Blade became what Blade is. And
But why even still, why is she now so hard on his side, letting them beat the fuck out of her son?
exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
That's what I don't like about this.
And I'm
Twist
with you on this.
Is that she doesn't make sense as a character. If they give us one line of here's the reason why, and that's why she has to stand by and do nothing, that would make sense. But the fact is, it just happens, and there's no real way to know.
So it's the best I can figure in my, and I hate to use this word, but the best I can figure in my head canon is when oh, well, now I get to live forever. and that's cool.
Yeah, I understand why she.
Right? That's it. Like, that's
the.
the only thing.
I understand coming to grips with it. If I got turned into a vampire, I would be able to accept it. Although, actually, living forever holds no
It
appeal
would
for
be
me.
a fucking shit show, man, to live forever. That would
I'm not
suck.
even that interested in living too much longer. I don't, much less forever. I don't.
I'm looking at like 1946 or so, man. Or, sorry, 2046.
Yeah.
That's about it. 1946, I overshot. Oh, God.
Yeah, living forever sounds exhausting.
It sounds torturous.
I don't want to do it, but either way, yeah. We don't. The mother isn't given any reason to betray to be on the evil side now
I'll ride with you
necessarily. I don't think, but you know, that's like the last thing I had to say about it is that one little plot thing didn't help. I don't care. A lot of people say the CGI doesn't hold up. I don't care about CGI.
Correct.
I love the cartoon skeletons and I love the everything disintegrating.
The whole blood thing.
Yeah,
and-
I know it
yeah.
looks old and looks bad, but I don't care. That's just not important to me as far as like a movie. The tonal stuff is weird. The tonal changes, especially early on. You know, Wesley Snipes talking weird and or saying goofy lines that are out of place. Very dramatic. I hate this long hair dude.
Donald Logue is the name of the
Yeah.
actor. He's been in a lot of... Dude, don't ask me why I know. I've been watching this
you
movie
that's
for-
why I brought you on for your Blade expertise. That's exactly the kind of stuff I need.
Here's one thing. I will tell you this. One of my other favorite I was going to make a mistake and say favorite. One of the things I've always noticed about this movie is in this final fight scene where Blade is facing the henchman before he gets to Deacon Frost.
Yeah.
He rips out one guy's throat
And
and
throws
he
it
throws
at him.
it at another guy, which is enough to deter the second person onto whom the throat was thrown
Yeah.
to just stop fighting.
That's a great part. That's a great aggressive action scene thing. Mm-hmm. That's something you'll never see that in a Marvel movie.
No, never.
We're not going to see Brie Larson as Miss Marvel or whatever her name is, Captain Marvel. We're not going to see
She's
Captain.
actually a corporal. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, we're not going to see Captain Marvel ripping out somebody's throat, blood splattering everywhere, and throwing it in the face of another person.
Dude. Exactly.
So there's kind of, it's yeah. I mean, it had great action. Wesley Snipes is a legitimate action star. He's awesome. This Asian fellow in the back has the worst Fu Manchu I've ever seen.
Oh, dude, that guy who
He's on the council. He's
earlier he goes Cinca de Capro Bled. I fucking know this movie, dude. Trust me. I know. I know exactly what you're talking about. That guy right there.
No, not that guy. I'm talking about the other guy.
Yeah, on the
Right. He's off screen right now.
yeah, that guy.
No,
Not him?
No, not him. I mean, he has his
the
his
other
Fu
guy's
Manchu
is gray.
The gray Fu Manchu.
Yes,
It's split
okay,
into three.
all right.
It's split into it's like an upside down trident. Anyway, that guy's brutal. Whatever.
See, here's one more thing because
All right,
I know we're trying to wrap things up.
This is the last one.
It's just so crazy because this movie should never have succeeded. They made it on a shoestring budget on a failing comic book company, and with Wesley Snipes, who was going to ultimately become a pariah in Hollywood.
I mean, this is a tax evader. It's not that big of a deal.
How many movies have you seen him in after that? Exactly.
I mean, I don't know, but who needs his what movies come out recently that needs his skill set?
He was in like one of two Expendables.
I think, yeah, exactly.
Or
He
one
went-
of three.
He went to the. He was right. He was in the Expendables
What
with-
a
with-
name!
with
What a name for a series.
with
by
a
the way.
dozen other expendable action stars. That's the point.
Yes,
That's the point of those
Yes,
movies.
yes.
That's the whole point of those movies is that Hollywood shifted while he was in jail. Even before that, because he was making terrible, like straight to DVD.
Right.
He was selling DVDs out of the trunk of his car, probably. But
I got this mixtape right here. Hey,
Yeah.
I got tax evasion. Thanks.
That guy's his own.
There he is. I see him.
With the
I see
head
him.
tattoos.
The one that curls under. The
Yeah.
Fu Manchu.
Oh, it's brutal.
But yeah, he was. Yeah.
The industry changed. We don't have real action stars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Tom Holland is an action star. That's despicable that I can even say that in this country.
God, the Tom Holland cast. That's our next one, guys. All right, here. I'm gonna cut myself off.
Yeah.
I've got a lot I could say about this movie and this franchise. We might do another one if this gentleman right here feels like it.
We'll definitely do another one. It might not be. I think we've covered all three blades as much as we can. Unless we will, I don't want to do a two-parter about both blades. About all three blades.
We don't acknowledge the third one. It's both blades. But no, seriously.
Anyway.
I'd love to be back here. Thank you for having me.
I'd love to have you back, my friend. You're one of my favorite people to talk to. That's why we've been so close for so long.
The pleasure is mutual.
What do you have anything to plug? Do you want anybody following you on anything, or do you not even care? You're more of a man of mystery, as far as I can tell.
Yeah. I don't like to really put my shit out there much, but right now, me and my band Black Ladder, it's a progressive instrumental funk rock trio with a lot of classical influence. We are gonna be putting out our new album soon.
Really?
Go take a look at our first two albums. You can find us on Bandcamp. You can find us at all the usual places.
Spotify?
Amazon, Spotify, all of that.
Is Black Ladder one or two words? I never remember.
Black Ladder.
2 words.
2 words.
Yeah.
It's actually one. No, it's actually 2 words. It is 2 words. There's that, and I really am, I'm trying to just lay low, not lay Lindsay Lohan.
She just got married.
No shit.
Yeah.
She did not.
To some...
She didn't even reach out to me.
Some dude with a lot of money. Well, she knew you were already married.
No, it's not even that. I would have sent her a present.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what it is. At Get Trash Pod on Twitter, at Nick Tazzo on Twitter. That's the only thing I'm going to promote from now on. If you're at all interested, follow my Twitter, please. It's mostly about movies, and then that's mostly what I'm talking about on Twitter. And then putting up show clips. Follow at Let's Get Trashed Pod on Instagram. Follow the pod. I'm going to hopefully get back to posting more clips. I've been very lazy about that. I'm terribly sorry. Anyway, thanks so much. Thank you, Clarence, for helping me out.
My pleasure.
Mr. the Fourth. And, all right, thanks, everybody. This is another In the Can episode. Let's get trashed.
Let's get trash.